Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended. Last episode we didn't do anything because I failed to capture the footage of last episode and lost it all because I didn't press record. I'm gonna just recap quickly of what I did on the last episode. Well, I did the setup for the plastics of HDPE. It's being made over here. Another thing I've done last episode was I upgraded our Enigmatic system. And there was a couple of other things that I will go over if I remember. But a lot of things have been made just for the sake of automation. And I think started the simulation channel. This thing I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, we tried to get the elementals. Data so we get more blizz. I think we made the aggregator earlier, but if not, we made it last episode. And a bunch of other machinery that we wanted to automate. This episode, we are gonna rebuild our nuclear reactor because it's kind of not satisfying our area thing. Basically, I need to rebuild this to produce more energy and more efficiently, considering we are at 1% efficiency or something like that. First off, we need to clear up this area and disassemble the previous reactor. Alright, now that we took down the reactor, we're gonna need more materials than we had before. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have a reactor that can process 16 fuel pellets instead of 4. It's gonna be 4 times more fuel consuming. We're gonna use a different type of fuel from the one we used. Last time we used HEU 235 nitride thing. And what we're gonna use is a LEU 235 nitride. This has a longer depletion time, I believe. 150, 150. Maybe not. Longer depletion time. Has a lower base heat. Starting to reconsider doing. Alright, this reactor is going to be a 9 by 9 by 9 from the outside, the exterior. It's going to be 7 by 7 interior. Alright, now that we have our casing, we're going to have to place fuel cells 3 blocks apart and 1 block away from the casing itself. Filling, we can just name here and one there. Alright, now we're gonna need to fill the areas between all of them, except the middle part, with beryllium blocks. Alright, now that we have all our moderators placed, we should put out the coolants. And the coolants we're gonna use is 2 water heatsinks, and 1 prismarine, which requires 2 adjacent water heatsinks. That should be enough for that fuel cell. Do this on all 4 corners, and our reactor should be done. Interior-wise, we need to add our port buses and the window and the controller. First thing, let's put the controller, so we forget about that. And we're gonna need fuel import and fuel export, and the water input and export. I'm gonna build that down here, like the water input output for the steam. Alright, we put our import bus, the fission here, and we put the fuel cells over here. Now we're gonna need to add the neutron sources. I believe we have 2 extras in the system, because I think you make 4 at a time. Or vanadium, neutron. I guess not. I only makes 2 at a time. Need to make the other ones. Alright, now that we have our radium beryllium thingy, we can now put them here and activate this. The other one I built back here. And we can activate that too. So, and the reactor should be ready for launching. We only now need to get some fuel and test out the production rate for the reactor. And then from the amount it produces, we can build the turbine maybe bigger than it was or the same size. Let's finish covering this up. Structure is complete. 7 by 3 by 7. And now that we have our LEU-235 nitride, we can take these and wait before I need to get the multi-tool right here and switch this to output, switch this to output, get a fluid crash, and place that at the output, just so we don't have an overflow of steam that will clog the system. Now we put our infinite water source over here and wait for this to fill up. Okay, we have the reactor filled with water. All we need to do is put 8 of these and it should activate with no problems. There we go, it's turned on. It produces 440 millibuckets of steam. I do wonder if I use a different type of fuel instead of LEU, would this produce more steam than this? Found a solution to turning this reactor into a, what is it called, from the LEU-235 to an HEU-235 nitride. Now the other one produces way more heat, like 4 times, so we're gonna have to like compensate that inside the reactor. I'll wait for this to finish reacting, and then we're gonna add a few more heat sinks to the center part. Alright, with this turned off, we can now break this and start building our extensions. We're gonna have to add a few iron on next to each of the moderator, like the first block. And in between those iron, you have to add 1 gold. Alright, now next to the water ones, you need to add copper. And finally, no, not finally. Next to the iron ones, you can add lead. And finally, you add on top of the fuel cells themselves another water. Now, this should theoretically handle 235 fuel pellets. You can close this up again and get some HEU-235 fuel pellets. Here we go with the moment of truth. HEU-235, I put this in here. This should work and hopefully doesn't melt down. It does have a positive reduction rate. One thing I do notice is it producing 0 steam for some reason. I'm trying a different thing. I removed all the copper and lead, and instead I'm gonna put prismarine on all of these sides between the water. According to the website, calculations, it should work without any problem. Get more HEU. And hopefully this time it produces steam. It's not. Okay. Oh, okay. I figured out what the problem is. This was originally designed to keep each of the fuel cells active as if they were holding LEU-235, which requires a higher criticality factor. But the HEU-235 requires a way lower criticality factor. Instead of using beryllium completely, I'm gonna have to use a graphite block at some 4 times 16. I'm gonna need 16 of those made, and we're gonna have to replace. I completely forgot about the criticality factor, because efficiency matters with this. Now we cannot. What is it called? Because HEU-235 needs 64. We can't use only graphite. Unless there's a block that we have nuclear craft. But is there weaker than that? No, it's not. So we're gonna use 2 of these and 1 of these on each moderator line, bringing us to like 84 or 82 in total. Each block I broke right now should be replaced with graphite. And that's the whole reason why we're not producing any steam, because our efficiency is in the gutter. Right now, this should work with the new moderator lines at a higher efficiency. If we close this up and try to activate it, this should theoretically start producing steam. And we produce 2 buckets of steam per tick, which is way more than we used to have before. We can still have the same size of a turbine, so I'm gonna just rebuild the turbine next to it over here and connect our internet. Connect our cable link to it. We now produce 60k instead of the 14k we used to produce, from 4 pellets to 8 pellets. I would say that's a drastic change. That's 4 times for just double the amount. It's way more efficient than it was. I'm not sure if we are charging this. Okay, I placed these wrong. It's supposed to be magnesium, beryllium, and then copper. Both sides. Maybe that's the reason why it's not working, because only the magnesium one was in the correct position. Another attempt on energy production. This produces a bit more energy, and all of these are full. So if I put this here, this should start charging. Perfect. Alright. So after finishing the reactor, the next thing I want to work on is ore multiplication. We're gonna need these 5 machines, and to do that, first we need to research atomic alloy. I did set up a recipe for atomic alloy, because all it needs is just putting the elite alloy into the refined one. I already set up everything for the metallurgic. Refined, diamonds, redstone, carbon, glowstone, and ender. With this, now we can try to make the ultimate control circuit, which is made in an empowerer. Let me get 3 more of these, and get the elite one we have over here. Upstairs and use our empowerer. Give it some times, and we should get that piece to be able to craft all these machines. Now, I need these machines for multiplying materials like titanium, tungsten, rare materials that I don't even want to go mine for a lot. Especially titanium, since processing titanium I can't just put in a pulverizer. It'd be nice if I just can put it beside these 4 machines to clean it. Now we have the ultimate control circuit. We can go over here and start crafting the chemical injection. It will need some sulfur, a purification chamber. That's an enrichment chamber with a bunch of tier 2. Chemical crystallizer is 2 elites. A sun crystal. What is crystallizer? Oh my god. Wow. chemical washer. See? This, yes. The chemical crystallizer caught me off guard with the crystallizer over here. Because it requires this is what? Advanced rocketry. Thermal expansion, the signal cell frame is expensive. I could still craft this. This is not that bad to craft. I just need to automate a couple of recipes. Okay, we ran into a problem. We got the signalum cell thingy, and the only thing we're missing is the elite plating. For that we need crystal binders, and that needs calcium sulfate. We could make a crystallizer and go through all the sequences of making that, but I think it's easier if we go to the Twilight Forest and get some castle materials. And now that we made it to the Twilight Forest, we just need to make our way up this tower to fight the Ice Queen. We've made it into the tower. There's the Ice Queen. Could be easy to fight, or not. Okay, that's easy. Hit her directly. This is hard to do with the... No. Hitting her with the sword works. It's easier. Is that my armor breaking? I thought that was my armor. I can hit that. There we go. Oh, simple enough. I just made it a bit harder than it should have. Next area we need to find is the Goblin Cave. Right, so I couldn't find this on my own, so I had to like get the map from the base and find it. So there is one of the islands we need to go to. I need to build upwards to get to it. We're not allowed to fly over here. Okay, now I made it all the way up here, and now you can just fight the giants. There's two giants usually, one with a pickaxe, one with a sword. They always look like the skin of the person looking at them. That's all. Okay, so now that we got the pickaxe, oh, there's another one. Now these are big pickaxes. If I hold them, I'm a bit small compared to it. Same thing with the pickaxe, and then you can mine these big blocks, and you can turn them into cobblestone or whatever you want. The reason we want the pickaxe is because there's the big obsidian that we want to get from the bottom, I believe, over here. I think this is the we can't enter that yet. We need to find the Goblin Cave and get the lamp. And after that, sorry, not Goblin, Troll Cave. And then we can get to the plateau, which is this castle over here. I'll try to find the cave, and I think it's in the spooky forest. I found the Goblin Cave, Troll Cave, my bad. And now we need to find a room with a big obsidian in the center of it. Ah, there we go. Now you use the pickaxe, the giant pickaxe, to break this. I wonder, can I just... Oh, wait a second. Is that cheating? Maybe. Oh, there we go. Now we found the lamp. I don't know if we need any of these. Magic beans sounds nice. Now we make our way back to the surface. Now with this lamp, all you need to do is hold right click, and you can start by burning these to make your way into the like the castle thingy. Now you could just fly through it. There we go, we made it to the castle. There is nothing crazy in here. I think this was supposed to be a work in progress for a boss at some point. Final boss of this area. But it was never finished. Because every time I come here, it says that the boss is WIP, which I think means work in progress. And that work in progress has been work in progress since ever. Here we go, we just advance into advanced rocketry. Now to make the crystallizer, whole reason we're gonna need a control circuit. It's a Mayo circuit. That's a weird recipe. Okay. Gonna need enhanced circuit boards. There's bronze and redstone circuit boards. That's easy. That's for this one. And for the other one, wow, what a recipe. Okay, here we go. We finally made the crystallizer. This took way longer than it did. Now we can try to make all the machines over here. One chemical injection chamber, chemical crystallizer, chemical washer, and chemical dissolution. The step is basically taking the rutile and with sulfuric acid melted down to titanium slurry, and it's 1,000 millibuckets, and then you can wash that in a chemical washer, which will provide you with clean titanium slurry. When you crystallize it, 200 millibuckets will become titanium crystals. Then you can take that and infuse that with a bit of salt or hydrogen chloride to get titanium shards. That's 5 titanium shards per ore. And then you can do that again with oxygen to get titanium clumps. Finally, you can crush it in a crusher to get dirty titanium. And finally, enrichment chamber, and we're done, technically. That should be all the steps needed to get titanium. Okay, so we got another problem while crafting these. I crafted already the chemical crystallizer and the injection chamber. The chemical washer requires us to have a cubic boron nitride. To get that, you need hexagonal boron nitride dust, which you need a crystallizer to make from boron nitride solution. And that is from mixing boric acid with ammonia. Will produce these two byproducts. So I want to make it so that the ME system is in control of making this recipe. I got 2 chemical reactors crafted. They are simple recipe. You need tar, which is basically distilled some crude oil into naphtha. I will build it over here, which is the processing by the ME system. In the center over here, I'll place down screens with all the fluids we have in the system stored. Okay, so I set up the ME system over here with another P2P tunnel with a big smart cable. So this is the idea of like having the storages like this. Now we're gonna need to get deuterium and oxygen and hydrogen. We could use the small electrolyzer that we have over here, but I think we should use the electrolytic crucible battery, which is made from immersive engineering. All it needs is these materials you see on your screen, and we're gonna build this structure down here. Okay, I got all the materials needed for this, and we're gonna start building this. Now that we finished this huge structure, now we can finish it off, I think, by right-clicking the center. Or not, maybe from the back. There we go. So the input is gonna be here, and I'm gonna put an infinite water source. And over here is going to be one of the outputs, and I think this is the fluid output. And behind it over here is the 2 gas outputs, the hydrogen and oxygen. And we'll be pumping both of these up to these 3 tanks. Right, now that we have this set up, I had the lever here because it consumes a lot of energy. I need to disable it. And we have hydrogen and oxygen in the system with deuterium and water. Now we can start doing the recipe for boric acid. First we need to make diborane, which is the boron and hydrogen. Also, we're gonna need to melt some boron. We need to get the melter with the boron ingot. Okay, the chemical reactor is connected to the system now. And if we put this recipe here, the diborane, it should be ready for the next step, which I don't remember. It's chemical reactor with some water will make boric acid and hydrogen. Now if we take this and teach the system that we need to combine these two, I don't think we need to care about it creating extra hydrogen. Fine. And now we can put this back into the chemical reactor. 50 by diborane. Now boric acid we need to combine with ammonia to make boron nitride. Ammonia is made from nitrogen and hydrogen. That should be easy in a chemical reactor. And finally, after all of this, we stop. We can turn boric into hexagonal, and we can teach the system to compact this to cubic boron nitride, which is a compactor over here. Now we can request cubic, and everything should work properly, I hope. Somewhere along the line, I messed up with one of the recipes. I think it needs a different type of liquid hydrogen because of the ammonia. And there we go. Now, you need to make sure when you're setting up these recipes, you're using the correct kind that you have. Now this should work, and all the machines over here should start working. Yeah, this is making the ammonia. This is making the boric acid. Now it's making... Why is it not pumping those in? It's pumping, it's just slow. There we go. We're making boron nitride. We can continue crafting these chemical washers and the solution chambers. Okay, and for the final recipe, we need sulfuric acid bucket, which is what I need most of these over here, because I want to make 3 types of acid: sulfuric acid, hydrochloric acid, and nitric acid. To make those, I am gonna need... Where is it? I search sulfuric. Hydrofluoric acid, which is the reason I need all 3 is because there's a device called the leacher, or leacher, that we can make. I don't know. There's a lot of different kinds of sulfuric acid from different mods. Chemical reactor can make sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, and then we can make sulfuric acid, nuclear craft. Yeah, the ore leacher requires hydrochloric, nitric, and sulfuric. And this will get us items like chromium, which we need for particle accelerators, and there was another one that you can get from here. Niobium, I believe. They did that for something. Okay, from this recipe, we can determine that 1 sulfur is 1 bucket of sulfuric acid, with the use of a bunch of oxygen and hydrogen. And here we go. We finished all the machineries we need for multiplying fluids by 5. Now it's time to set this up, and I'll set it up over here. Okay, so first step, you need to put the chemical dissolution chamber. I don't think it matters where you put it, as long as it's on... I'll just put it inside over here. This will have items pumped into it alongside sulfuric acid. And it will melt down, for example, the titanium into titanium slurry. So let's connect all the inputs we need for this. Okay, there is a problem I just noticed. The sulfuric acid we make from nuclear craft is not the same sulfuric acid we use in Mekanisim. So I can't use that sulfuric acid yet. What we could do is we can use a fluid dictionary conversion, which is from industrial foregoing. To craft that, it's a simple recipe of a bit of floppers, iron, and glass. Now this block is not a block I want to keep visible, so I'm just going to put it behind over here. What this will do is it will turn... you can choose what type of fluid you want to switch to what. Okay. So I'll put sulfuric acid here and turn it into... It doesn't need energy, I think you just need to put that inside. Now after we put the chemical dissolution chamber, we need to wash the materials. So we put them in a chemical washer. Let's just put that over here. I don't know where the input and the output is, but I think this is an input. Put this over here. Already automatically on. And from the top we need to input water. After this gets cleaned, it needs to be taken to a crystallizer. This pressurized this chemical crystallizer. The output over here should produce the clumps. Back to titanium slurry with titanium crystals, and we need to put it in the chemical injection with hydrogen chloride. Doesn't matter, we put the chemical injection chamber. I don't think it matters how we put it. And from the chemical injection, this will turn titanium shards in the purification chamber. And after that, we can put it in a crusher and finally into enrichment chamber. We need 3 more machines. Okay, so everything should be ready, technically. So let's just say I have 1 titanium ore. I put it over here. This should be processed into titanium slurry. I don't have energy. There, this should start working and turn it into titanium slurry, which will be pumped immediately into the chemical washer, and it will start washing it, sending the rest into a crystallizer or not. Clean titanium slurry. It has no energy. Connect this over here. And this should start making crystals, which will go to the chemical injection. That will run out of energy. It will create titanium shards, which should go to this over here now. Or not. There we go. All this needs is oxygen, titanium shards over here, which will be pumped into the crusher after that. Yes, and finally it will go into the enrichment chamber, where it will turn into titanium dust. And we have 4 of these. The issue here, we need to make hydrogen chloride instead of using normal salt. And to do that, we need to get some chlorine and sodium. So we got titanium dust. I need to add energy to this. And here we have a 5 multiplier. Normally, when we turn our titanium into like clusters, and then we can turn them into like dirty titanium, this will give us usually 20 titanium in an enrichment chamber. Now it can give us a bit more. Overall, this is a good setup. I just need to optimize it by making hydrogen chloride as an input. Here we go, titanium dust. That was a good progress for today. We did a lot of chemical stuff. And I think this is a good place to end this episode. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please click the like, comment, share, and subscribe. And have a great day. Peace out.